There is a simple concept in the first Descendant that truly does break the game in my opinion, depending on which Descendants you play. So in this video, I'm going to talk about it, explain it, and honestly just try helping you understand the gravity of the situation, because it is actually crazy that this exists within the game. Hello everybody, it's your boy and here I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about a concept in the game that I think truly breaks a lot of the elements of it. So let's get right on into it. But before we do that though, my creator code is going to be on screen right now. My Discord server and my Twitch are going to be linked in the description. From now on, I am going to start streaming on Twitch and on YouTube, so please do follow me up on Twitch. Let's try running them numbers up on Twitch, you know, a bit of this and a bit of that. But let's actually get on into what I am talking about, because I'm sure you're curious. Now, I am sure that everyone has been enjoying the update, you know, investing in your smithereens for purging, investing in your thunder cage because it is a fun and generally great weapon, and investing in your legacies, so on and so forth. But there is something on specific weapons that I feel like kind of went underneath the radar. Now, if you have a look at this top spot over here, it's got a little colored core that basically means you can put any core on it. Now, what that means is you are able to run anything. The Secret Garden has it, the Python has it, the Peacemaker has it, the Enduring Legacy has it. Now, what does that actually even mean? That means if you are a fanatic for movement, like myself, you are able to do something like this that I have done on the Peacemaker and have triple 20 times speed. Now, for anyone who knows anything about speed, integer scaling and everything in this game, let me give you a quick little rundown. Now, if you were to look at these different weapons, the Smithereens only has 18% sprint speed. Now, if we look over here, my sprint speed is 944. If I go onto the Thunder Cage, which again has 19, because of the weight of the weapon, just because it's a tiny bit faster, there is a jump to 952. So from 944 to 52, that's like 8 points difference between a single sprint speed core, and the color of the core being gold obviously means it's better. And on the legacy we have two of these at level 19, and because of that we have 1104 sprint speed. So what happens when we put the balls all the way to the walls and go 20 20 20 on a weapon that is a light weapon like the Peacemaker? Like, this is what happens. You get 1280 sprint speed, and just for reference, the absolute sprint speed cap of this game as of right now is 1300, and essentially by sprinting you are constantly at the sprint speed cap with this. Now, depending on the weapon, if you were to do this on the Secret Garden or on the Python, for example, you would be able to use a module called Brisk Walk, which would allow you to have plus 10% movement speed, which is different from sprint speed. Now, sprint speed and movement speed are two completely different things. Sprint speed is how fast you can run, and movement speed is how fast you can do basically everything else. And I do believe that sprint speed and movement speed are additive to each other. So if you are running with max sprint speed and you have a little buff on your movement speed, that is going to make a difference, and vice versa. Now, if we do use the Peacemaker over here that I have maxed out my sprint speed on, there is other ways you can also increase your speed. Now, I did already show you Brisk Walk on the submachine weapons, but you can also use the inversion reinforcement. Now, the reason I'm not going to be including this in this video is specifically because the inversions are not going to be here forever, so I'm just not going to keep them here, because in 3 seasons time I don't think the inversions are going to be the same. So, you know, I'm just going to exclude that factor for now. Just for reference, I want to show you what it's like when a regular bunny goes up against a bunny with just max sprint speed, and even without the second ability active, you can see I'm basically semi-faster, if not keeping pace with this bunny. My man does have a few MP issues over there, so you know he should definitely use an xAlisa TFD bunny build, because they are the best, if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. But basically this does show that even with MP you can keep up, and you don't even need the ability active. It is essentially just an MP drain, specifically with bunny. So I'm gonna explore the bunny aspect a little bit more real quick. Now, Bunny's second ability was always a limiting factor towards building for Bunny. You'd always have to make sure you had good MP cost or skill cost, or you had good MP recovery in order to keep up. Now with this, you don't need that at all. You don't need any MP cost for that matter. You can have literally 0 MP cost and it would not phase you in the slightest. As well as having 0 MP modules, the only thing you would want is just having max MP on a sensor, and that would essentially be best. As you can see from me here, I don't give a damn about any of these modules or MP dropping, because even with this, I'm still completely maintaining everything, and by the time my ability runs out, I'm basically back up on my feet running again, and I'm able to cast my third ability. So what does this actually mean for Bunny? And let's talk about the build real quick. So first of all, what this actually means is that you can now make Bunny builds that essentially require 0 MP, 0 skill cost. You can go completely insane with the damage and never have to worry about MP or just skill cost again. Now that unlocks a million doors for Bunny specifically, but let's just get on into the external components and reactor before the build. Now for the reactor, I've just gone with singular electric, singular and duration up, just to keep my ability on for a tiny bit longer. This is just going to be ideal for damage. Essentially this works. If you want to go with a crit build, crit rate, crit damage, all of that, singular scales best, so I've gone with singular. Now for external components, I've gone for Slayer set with damage. So the MP recovery out of combat does not mean crap, we don't need MP, so the max HP and fire resistance would be good for this component. For this next component, you would want the max MP, just so you have more space in the bar, I believe. If that doesn't work, then honestly, you can get away with just having the... I don't even know what you'd need on this part. It's that useless. Like, that's what I'm saying. You just want to get all the resistances. So chill resistance on here would be ideal. Maybe MP recovery out of combat would be kind of okay because you're just running. And then MP recovery modifier doesn't mean anything, so defense and electric resistance. And then toxin resistance, shield recovery modifier, or max shield would be perfect for your processor. Now, for the build, this is what I am going with. You can literally run any red module. If you want to have high voltage on, then you can run high voltage on here and it would not make much of a difference. You'd obviously be hitting less enemies, but your damage would overall generally be higher. Now, this is the way I've built Bunny, just because it doesn't matter about anything other than damage to me right now. So I've gone with Decimated to get myself skill power modifier, and whenever you use Bunny's third ability, you will inflict enemy with debuffs anyways, so you're going to get a ton of mileage out of that and a ton of skill power modifier. Next up, singular and singular specialist and power increase. Again, just this scales better than focus on electric, and cooldowns are not an issue, so I'm just going with full scaling on that. Singular and elect amp because I'm going with a non-crit build because that's just my preference. Skill expansion and maximize range for just range modules. Skill extension for duration, so we can keep that all the way up, and then outstanding investment for extra duration. That's literally it. Mid-air maneuvering, because now with the maneuvering modules, it's not going to stop my ability. I'm not going to run out of fast speed. Everything's fine. And if you look at my third ability, you can see that my duration is 33 seconds and my cooldown is 30. Now, are there any downsides to using this? I would say yes. When Bunny is using her speed of light ability, you generate electricity and your second bar up significantly faster whilst in this ability. Now, it doesn't make a difference. Once you've activated it once, if you just keep moving, you are perfectly fine. Other than that, I would say that Bunny generally does feel a little bit more nimble when you are using this. So, you know, you can do a little bit of this and that faster. You can jump side to side and this and all of that sort of stuff, and it does genuinely feel more nimble whilst moving around, versus if you were to just do this generally, you can see it's a little bit slower. So there's definitely that element to it, but in terms of like actual movement, you're not moving any faster. If you're running sprint cap with Bunny right here, then you're running sprint cap. It is as simple as it gets, and you're not going to get any faster than that as of right now. Now, I'm going to quickly go on over some tricks that I know with Bunny that may help you push your speed a tiny bit further. I have been testing it, but I can't come to any sort of consistent result, so let me just show you that real quick. Now, the reason I am running electric condense on here is because if you have a look over here, you do get a 20% sprint speed increase. Now, with this, I have seen it, and even if you are running perfectly with two identical builds side by side, when this does explode, you do get a tiny boost forward. So regardless, that is a little bit of an increase. So that's why I'm running electric condense. Other than that, it's a really great module to just delete bosses or elites, stuff like that. So it is my ideal choice in this specific build. Now, I did mention brisk walk earlier in the video. That's if you do this on the secret garden or Python. And then the inversion is basically the only other way that I know off the top of my head to gain any speed. Now, if you were to stack all of that together, you would come to a pretty fast damn Descendant right there, and that is essentially everything for speed. Now, I've spoken about Bunny already, and I've told you how this is great for Bunny, but let me talk about every other Descendant in this game, because this doesn't just break Bunny, it's most optimal on Bunny for sure. But if you were to talk about every other Descendant in the game, this definitely does have its place. In a nutshell, what this means for all the other Descendants is that every Descendant is just as fast as the other. Now, no one Descendant is faster than the other, technically, but Bunny is still the absolute fastest. I am going to talk about that in another video though, so stay tuned for that one anyways. But as you can see from the Magister Lab gameplay, every single Descendant I am using, Freyna, Haley, Valby, Viessa, Lepic, Blair are all absolutely flying through this first little bit of Magister Lab. I'm just showing you a little bit of the speed that is capable whilst just equipping this weapon. Now, if you were to do this on a secret garden, for example, that would benefit Freyna, it would benefit Inace, and you can see here, this Valby's keeping up with Inace, which is kind of crazy, but, you know, it just means that every Descendant is on the same playing field, and that is great because Nexon did say that they are trying to make all the Descendants somewhat equal to an extent, and I feel like this is one way to absolutely do that. Now, if I was to use Bunny in any sort of invasion, I would basically use her second ability just to get myself the third ability right off the bat, and then after that I will essentially just not use it at all. So, you know, this is still my main, probably going to be my main Bunny build for now, because honestly this is just freaking great as a concept, and no MP and skill cost issues on Bunny does sound like a great time to me. But for every other Descendant, it means that everyone is just as fast as each other, and if you optimize depending on the weapon, you can absolutely make this an absolute flipping fun weapon to have. And this means that there's no more slowpokes in the game technically. If anyone is really slow with one Descendant or another, at this point it's a genuine skill issue. Now, I do know that this is very high investment. You know, it's not easy farming out a ton of X cores. Not everyone is a no life like me. Also, a lot of people seem to be under the impression that streaming is my full-time job. I am a university student. I am 21 years of age, so, you know, I'm still in education. Stop hating on me. It makes me very sad. But obviously farming cores is not really that easy, and obviously with RNG it could take one roll, it could take a million rolls for you to get these exact stats. So, you know, it is a bit of a gamble, but honestly a gamble worth taking in my opinion, as proved in this video. Now, this is going to help me run every single Descendant in the game, so I do think that this is a worthwhile investment, but let me know whether you guys would run this. I do think specifically with Bunny though, this is insanely busted. So, you know, that's basically been this video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button, and if you've got any other ideas that you might want to see me have a look at, please leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to get around to them. But yeah, that's been this video. Smash that like button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.